So as Uber mentioned, my name is Rob Guinness, and I'm the founder of a new startup called Pondenome. This company was established in March of this year, so it's very fresh. We're still in the early stages, and this is actually the first public presentation about this project that I'll be giving. So, I'm very happy that you're here in this room for this first kind of event in the company's life. So Pondenome is an end-to-end encrypted social network. That's quite a mouthful for some people if you're not very technically oriented. So another way to put it is, it's basically privacy by design, privacy baked into the social network. And I'll open that up a little bit more in the presentation so you can understand what that really means. But before I get started, I found this image which I thought was really gives a strong impression. For me, it's exactly sort of the impression I feel when it comes to social media today. For me, social media just creates a lot of stress in my life. I've actually improved this situation for myself personally. It was 2 years ago during the first MyData conference that I decided, after many years of using Facebook, I decided, okay, enough is enough. I can't really have this in my life anymore, and I just decided cold turkey to stop using Facebook. And it really, I have to say, has improved my life in a lot of ways. It has made certain things more challenging in terms of staying in touch with family and friends. I come from the US originally, but I live now in Finland. So just by the nature of my history, I have a lot of friends and family in different countries around the world, and it's difficult to stay in touch if you don't have some digital platform how to stay in contact. So I think with social media, there is a real value in social media, but the way I see it, the way that social media is implemented today, it just creates, at least for me and for many people that I've discussed with, creates a lot of stress, a lot of side effects that are unwanted. So what we've decided to do with Pondenome is to try to change that situation. So we're really looking from the ground up, what is a better way to organize and create a social network. So we don't want to just clone existing social networks with some added privacy features. We really want to think about this from the ground up. And we're moving in that direction. We're still in the early phases, but today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we're thinking. So first of all, social networks really, they're not something that you need intrinsically in your life, right? People can survive without social networks, but people are drawn to social networks because we are social beings, and this is one way in the modern age to stay in touch with people. But it shouldn't, in my view, it shouldn't create a lot of stress in your life, right? It should be something you enjoy. It should be something that's fun and that you don't feel addicted to or feel really stressed out about using. So that's the first focus. It has to be fun. It has to be easygoing. It has to give you a nice feeling. Also, in my view, the way that we use social networks today, or a lot of people use social networks today, it's not really well matching with sort of the natural ways that humans communicate that have been developed over many thousands of years. So with Pondenome, we're trying to make the communication still in the modern age, but more natural, more like people communicate in everyday life. I mean, when you're talking with someone, you don't go up to them and say, "Hey, I like that," right? You don't tap on them and say, "Oh, I like that," and you don't check, how many people have liked what I said, and so on. So I think that social media has really taken us away from how humans naturally communicate, and we're trying to get back to sort of the fundamental aspects of communication. Also, kind of continuing along these lines, what I've noticed a lot, I mean, I used Facebook for many years. I was one of the early adopters of Facebook. But what I noticed over the years is that the communication became more and more superficial. more and more people, are just scrolling through a news feed, and kind of passively interacting, maybe liking on some posts and so on. But I found that the real meaningful, valuable communication and interaction is starting to become less and less. So our focus is on building tools, again, that are more natural around how humans communicate, and encouraging people to have very meaningful types of interactions and communication. And maybe this is the most important thing of all, but communication should be safe, right? Of course, there are always risks when you interact with other people, I think, in general, but there are technical solutions how to make social networking much more safe than it is today. And we'll go into this in more detail in a few moments. So my basic premise is that social media that we have today is really broken. I can bring up a lot of examples why I think this, and you may agree with some of them, you may disagree with some. I think maybe one that comes to mind that I'd like to share, with Facebook, I don't know how many, maybe show of hands, how many watched the recent testimony that Mark Zuckerberg gave to the US Congress or to the Parliament in the UK. Did anyone catch at least some clips of that? Okay. So, he disclosed there, I mean, it wasn't really a secret, but he disclosed that they're employing many thousands of people to monitor content on Facebook. But then at the same time, he's saying that, you're in control of your privacy, you choose who can see your posts, but then we employ these thousands and thousands of content monitors. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, how do these two things coexist? How can I be in full control of my privacy if you're also employing people that apparently have some superpowers to monitor content on the network? So I think this is one sort of symptom of really a system that is broken today. And what I'd like to do now, so this is my view, but I'd like to try and get this as interactive as possible. I've prepared some questions on screen IO, so if you can bring those up.